It's massive and is controversial. We are talking about the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a free trade treaty among 12 countries led by the United States. It would be the largest trade deal in more than 2 decades, that is, if it happens. The TPP would cover a third of global exports. Its member countries account for 40% of the world's GDP. That's nearly $28 trillion, and close to 800 million people will be affected by the deal. The TPP is one of US President Barack Obama's biggest economic goals, but it faces many hurdles, drawing resistance at home and abroad. One of the biggest criticisms is the secrecy in which the deal is being negotiated. But supporters of the TPP say discussions were largely held in secret to avoid interference from vested interests. The TPP is said to touch on highly contentious issues like intellectual property rights, while patent provisions in the deal could make medicine more expensive, critics say. And they claim a mechanism under the TPP would allow large foreign corporations to sue a country, undermining sovereign laws of nations. But let's take a look at the possible advantages of the TPP. Smaller economies may gain preferential access to big developed markets like Japan and the US. And HSBC points out that Vietnam and Malaysia could stand to benefit the most from the TPP, boosting their GDP by 13% and 6% respectively in a decade. The US is looking to complete TPP negotiations by year's end. It was recently criticized for removing Malaysia from its worst human trafficking ranking, a move that would smooth the way for Malaysia to get on board the trade deal. So why is Malaysia so important for the TPP to succeed? The main reason appears to be its proximity to the Malacca Strait. This thin waterway connecting the Pacific and Indian Oceans is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. 85% of China's imported oil passed through here last year. TPP is regarded by many as the US's response to the rise of China. Many countries in the region are becoming wary of China's growing military assertiveness in the South China Sea, and a strong counterbalance in the form of TPP may be part of that strategy. In June, the US Senate gave Obama the authority to speed through negotiations for the TPP. But the talks with member nations will be complex and fraught. And the big question for hundreds of millions of people, will the benefits outweigh the costs?